cake market, have you ever thought about it? How big is it globally? I went online and checked. It was $44 billion last year. Despite the pandemic, folks ate $44 billion worth of cakes. Now, the growth rate of that industry is calculated at about 3.3%, and that is expected to be about $55.7 billion by the year 2027. And that's according to a new report by Grandview Research. Although the largest market for cake consumption is in Asia and the Western Hemisphere, the US and Europe, there's an increasing adoption of cake as a snack among the working class population and young generation in regions such as Nigeria. Kwado Enyi is an entrepreneur. She's also the CEO of Case Pastries, who is using an online platform to train women in cake making, not only in Nigeria, but in a number of African countries. Good evening, madam. Kwado joins me now from Abuja Studios. You got some cake for me?
I brought some for your colleagues here. Good evening.
Oh, now we've got to do that online. Because you selling cakes across Nigerian borders. I'm sure the central bank governor will be looking at you, how much you're making in foreign exchange inflows into Nigeria. Thank you for helping our foreign exchange reserves by intra-Africa trade. But let's start. Tell me about the cake industry last year. About 40, how much was that again? About $44 billion cake were eaten last year globally, despite the pandemic.
Yeah. Yes.
Is this still a big business in Nigeria?
When the pandemic started, I was a bit worried. Oh, yes, it is. It is. I thought it was going to be a problem and we would have to close down during the lockdown, but then the orders kept coming in, and luckily the government had given an exempt for bakeries. So we were able to go to work and keep serving the customers.
Folks were ordering cakes last year despite the pandemic? Nigerians?
Oh, yes.
Really?
Okay. Oh, yes.
Now,
yeah.
How is this a profitable line of business in Nigeria, by the way? I am just asking.
Oh, yes, very profitable. I've been earning 7 figures for the last how many years? So it's a really good business to be in.
Oh, you've been earning 9 figures. Oh, 7 figures. You're looking at 9 figures, by the way, because the tax man will be listening to this conversation later to ask you about your tax. So I think we better skip that part of the conversation before they say, hey, madam, here you are. You pay your tax up to date. But let's just go to the industry.
Oh, yes.
I know you've been paying your tax up to date. That's why you could reveal 7 figures. But if you get to 9 figures, let me be the first to know. That's the millionaire level, in a manner of speaking. So, but what are the challenges that business executives in the cake industry face, really?
For now, what the main challenge is, every day we go to the market and the prices of everything is really, really skyrocketing. So you can't just come overnight and transfer the cost to your clients. So we have to find a way to buffer that. Yeah. But outside that, I think...
What's going on? What prices of the ingredients climbing? Is it sugar? What is it?
Sugar, milk, even the flour. We used to buy flour for 9,500. It went to 11,000. Now we're buying at 20,000, and that's within a span of 6 months. So it's crazy. So
you've seen inflation there, aren't you?
Oh yes. A high level of inflation.
But there's still demand despite the high cost of the inflationary trend around. Are there any part of your business that is tied to exchange rate in terms of you need to source these materials that they're always coming from outside the country, we don't have them here?
Oh yes, there are certain things we use for finishing cakes. Those ones come outside the country, so we have to face that as well.
But are you seeing any support for your industry from the government institutions, maybe the central bank and others? Because when we talk about bakers, the first line of those who we seem to read in the news are those who make bread, which is my favorite, by the way. But it looks like you folks have been operating under the radar. Are there any support you're getting from government agencies, or you want some support? Tell me.
Yes, I was able to access some NISA loans. In fact, I got a small loan and then they asked if I wanted to get access to a bigger one. So I've applied for that. I got the first one, and I'm waiting to get the second one as well. So I think the government has been a bit helpful in doing that, at least providing a buffer for the people that really, really need to.
You're talking about NASAL, which is this agency created by the central bank,
yes.
to give loans to SMEs.
Oh, yes.
and women. Maybe because you're a woman, nobody has asked me. They haven't asked me. I'm going to ask the MD of NASAL why he hasn't called me up and say, "Hey, Bosun, do you need a loan? Because you got a first one, then you got a second one." Are these at concessionary or at certain rates at which you are able to do business, madam?
Oh, yes. At least I don't get to pay back until after a year. And the rate of it is really fair. It is. So I can't complain about that.
We've got about 2 minutes, so I got to let you go, madam. Let's talk about training others to become professional bakers. How have you leveraged technology, and what results are you seeing? You talk about orders coming from outside
We
Nigeria.
launched an online platform for bakers, because one of the challenges I face here is finding skilled bakers. Most times I have to hire and then train. So we started an online cooking school. So we teach people how to bake, and I've been shocked at how big it's grown. Within 2 months, we're at 17,000 on my platform. We have students from all over Africa, Botswana, Rwanda, South Africa, Ghana. So it's been really, really interesting.
I hope those cakes you're sending to Rwanda, South Africa, and elsewhere, you're branding it made in Nigeria.
It's lessons. I'm teaching them how to bake.
You're teaching them how to bake.
Yeah.
But that's good. Are you finding it? What about payments? Because they've got to, if I'm sitting in Rwanda, there's a Rwandan franc. So how do I get to pay you in Nigeria?
Luckily, we found a platform that collects currency in the local currency and then pays us in Naira, because most of the platforms only collect dollars. So it's difficult for people on the other end, but it's been helpful to find Flutterwave.
Don't tell me so much how you make money. I know that part, your answer is going to be very short. But again, I think I'm going to think about being an entrepreneur one of these days, maybe when I'm out of the studios. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Kwadwo Enyi, entrepreneur and CEO at Case Pastries in Abuja. Thank you. Nice to see you.